What's going on, everybody? Troy Reynolds here. Another exciting episode of Meet the. Today, it's Meet the Comedian, actor, teacher, vet, friend, and all around wholesome. That's messed up when you say word like wholesome. Everybody busts out like, y'all hear that? Y'all make some noise for Mr. Rodney Perry.
What up, Troy?
P, how are you feeling, man?
It's all good. I'm feeling great, man. I'm glad. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, I don't even remember what year it was. And if you don't know who Rodney Perry is, just look him up. Follow his name, Rodney Perry. Just Google his name, look him up on YouTube. Veteran comedian, amazing comedian, host, teacher, teaching improv class. I want to ask you more about what you're doing with the improv stuff you've been teaching, because you've been teaching that from coast to coast. And most people take for granted. We jump right in for granted that how profound it is for comedians to have courses of study beyond just grabbing a mic and doing material. And for you to be but it explains also why you're such a good host. You love people and you interact and you go in, and then people don't know what I like about your comedy is people don't know what to expect. Meaning that you see Rodney Perry, he's cool and he's like, oh, he's funny, but then you'll take him somewhere and can be as raw as possible and then be profound and then do interactive stuff. So first off, where are you from? Let the people know where you're from, where you hail from.
I hail from the great city of Chicago, Illinois, but I was raised partially in Monroe, Louisiana.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
My mother's hometown, and so and it's actually in my book when we left Chicago around my junior year of high school. The end of my sophomore year, we moved to Chicago that summer, and I graduated from high school at Carroll High School, Monroe, Louisiana. So it wasn't a lot of years, but it was some of my most formative years I spent in Monroe.
Monroe, Louisiana. My mom's down in New Lionel, Leesville area now near Fort Polk.
Oh yeah, I know the area well.
Yeah. So that's pretty awesome. So Chicago, and when did you make the trek out to Los Angeles?
So I joined the Navy in 1998. No, that's a lie. I joined the Navy in 1990. And so I was in the Navy from 90 to 94. My first tour was in New Orleans. My second tour was in the Bay Area. So I was trying to get west. I knew I wanted to do comedy. I was trying to get west. I was still in the Navy. So I did 4 more years in the Bay Area, which was invaluable to my comedy career. You know, cats like me, people like Cat Williams, Lunell, John, we were all in that incubator in the Bay. And in 1998, I reached a crossroads in the military. If I were to enlist again, if I were to enlist again, it would have took me to 12 years, which I felt like I needed to go ahead and do 20. And so it was a crossroads for me. 1998, I got out, packed up my family, moved to LA, and yeah, that's kind of the story in a nutshell.
So how long were you in the Navy?
8 years, 90 to 98.
And when did you know you wanted to do comedy? Though, were you still in Chicago? You said this is something I really want to do, or it's just you was a funny dude, and it just came natural.
I found comedy very young. I mean, I was doing stand up in second grade. I was standing on my feet telling jokes in second grade. But it took many years to find it as a profession, you know, to make money at it, and that didn't happen till like you know, in the 90s.
Right.
But yeah, I was easily doing stand up in and around high school, even in Monroe, Louisiana. You know, they would have like Barbizon and little stuff like that, and they would for $300 you could get a tape and they would record you. I did all that stuff. I was in high school doing that.
So you knew right off the back, I'm going to be it's just some people don't understand when you got a plan A that's so gangster that plan B is death. It's like
there was really no plan B, but not because I was smart enough to not have a plan B. I was just too dumb to have a plan B.
no, it's a good dumb. It's a good stupid. It's because when you get older, when we start getting older, it's like, oh man, I got to do this. I got to take care of this kid and family and this, that, and other. But if you have some, it seems like I don't know your wife personally, but how
people don't believe she exists.
Right. I mean, y'all, and if you see y'all together, y'all damn near look like sister and brother after a while.
Right.
Y'all start blending in. The kids, you look at the kids like, we're all these, y'all all cousins? Like, no. We're not from Virginia.
Right.
Not West Virginia. How important is it to have a mate to believe in you? Or did you have one of those scenarios like everybody loves to see Michelle and Barack do the whole, that's my woman right there. That's what she does. You know, they like to see that part. And but what they miss is when he wrote in The Audacity of Hope that there was a point after he got his butt kicked in this one election, he put it at the beginning of the book, and he went back and said, you know what? After sitting there and the children getting older, he's working, she's working, they're both educated people with good jobs. He's like, well, you know what? I'm gonna run one last time, baby. She was like, okay, yeah, I hear you, but don't think you got my vote. As in, I like this life that we live in, right, and you want to go back into politics, and it takes so much of us. When did you realize that you had somebody that was going to support you no matter what? Or was it just the ups and downs of the relationship?
Last week.
You know, I think you can do this thing.
You know, I got faith in you. Did about how? No, this is the thing, Troy, man. I would love to paint this rosy picture that we've always had it figured out. We just didn't. We were just kind of feeling our way along. And large parts of my career, I was extremely selfish, which I think you kind of have to be. You kind of can't do this without being singularly focused. And on some level, I drug her part way, and at some point she said I might as well walk with this guy. You know, when I got out of the military, we had certain comfort level, and I just knew that wasn't for me personally. I didn't ask her, but she rolled with me.
So you guys were married. You guys got married before you went in the military, or
we got married. It's 23 years right now, so we got married in 96 ish, yeah, around there. So she had some working knowledge on what it was, but it got real when we got to LA. It got very real.
Because it's like, oh no, we don't pay you for this. LA, as you get to LA, it was like, it's a privilege to be here. You're like, exactly. What? What's the privilege thing?
And you got to figure out how to make ends meet. And you got to, we went through one portion very tough financially. And my wife, she was like, we need to get on food stamps. And I was totally against it, but we went down to the office as a family, my wife, my daughter, and myself, and we sat there in the welfare office filling out our paperwork, and they was only talking to her, right? They were only talking to her. And at some point, they had finished everything and said, well, all we need now is your baby father's name, and we'll start to recoup these funds we're going to give you from him.
Him.
And she was like, no, we need help as a family. My husband is right there. That's not my baby father, it's my husband. And so what I understood right away is these systems aren't designed to help families. They're designed to help single mothers
and to separate
men, but not families. And so we packed our stuff. We walked out of there and said, no, we good. And we've been good, man. We've been good.
That's powerful. That's powerful. You know, as much as we laugh at Trick Daddy, you see Trick Daddy's story. I was watching something online the other day, and Trick Daddy broke down the government system, welfare system, and the project system.
I saw that.
I was sitting there with my mouth open, like, he's dead on. Say what you want. I mean, he's dead on.
It's just not designed. It's not designed with families in mind.
No.
It's not designed with to build us. It's almost designed to kind of handicap us. And you know, people say that, I don't want to get political all, but
right.
People say that, and it's a matter of how you say it to get people to make it palatable. And I think sometimes that's the job of the comedian, is to figure out how to say it in such a way, we'll serve up something bitter with a little sugar on it.
We make this work. We would be dead without comedians. Like, if everybody, we can say, I love Dave Chappelle's new joint, Sticks and Stones, and but that's basic. It's like he just took us back to basic comedy. That's what, I remember when Michael Richards zapped out at the was the Laugh Factory? It was the Laugh Factory, and Paul Rodriguez and Sinbad were backstage, and they interviewed Sinbad. And Sinbad was like, he was listening. He was like, all right, let me see where he's going. He's saying the N-word. He's yelling out, nah, 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 nah. And Sinbad backstage, like, let me see where he's going. Because comedians, we think differently. We know when you hit that stage, I know the comedian I am. I yearn for shock value. I want to talk about you in the improv piece, because that's a piece that's near and dear to my heart, because I infuse improv into everything I do. So when I saw that you were, I think the first time I saw it when we was working at the Comics Rock convention, and I was like, Rodney's teaching on improv is great. But yours was a different piece. It wasn't just teaching improv like these are the techniques you do. You was like teaching people to find their voice. And most people don't know that's what improv is, being comfortable with you and presenting you transparent enough so that the audience will give you something that you can kind of use and throw back. It becomes tennis. And a lot of people are scared of that. They say, oh, crowd work. I do a little bit of crowd work, and it's not crowd work. They are there. They're not. Don't be oblivious. They there.
Exactly.
So what made you say, okay, I want to start teaching the technique of improv?
Well, I knew what I didn't want to do. I didn't want to teach stand up.
Right.
To me, stand ups are a bit flaky sometimes. And although I have the skill set to teach stand-ups, I wanted to be a little broader. And my base was improv. My stand-up base was always improv. Like, we started doing improv years ago when I was in New Orleans, when I was first stationed in New Orleans. And cats like Ken Jeong from the series, I can't think of the movies.
Hangover.
But, the Hangover series. So Dr. Ken Jeong, he was in med school at the time, and he would come do improv with us. Myself, my boy Harry, who writes for Kevin Hart, and that was kind of the base. Even when I was in LA at the Hollywood Park Casino, we was doing improv. I'm sure we affected a young, wild and out producer.
Yeah.
Why can't I remember nobody's name today?
No.
Nick Cannon.
Nick Cannon.
I'm sure we affected Nick Cannon.
Right.
I can't say he got the idea from me, but we were the only one in LA that was black that was doing improv back then. And so at the end of my stand-up show, we would do improv. So improv has always kind of been my base. And so when I wanted to create another business, because I'm always out to create passive income, and even though this wasn't as passive as I would like, it was a way for me to do something else. When I try to stay kinetic,
right.
Whenever I feel like, whenever I get in the mode, I'm like, you know what, I need to be doing more. I try to do something, and at that point in my life, that something was improv, and I still do it. I mean, here's one of my students gave me this big picture all on there.
I love it. And that's key. I'm glad you said that, because a lot of times we forget we are not just comedians, we're creatives. So, and I think that's why we see some of the success on a wide scale of some people like Greg Robinson and Adam Sandler doing their music and adding their music to what they do. And And even though it's funny because you see a lot of bass. If you love entertainment, like even though younger, but coming up and watching people like Gregory Hines, Sammy Davis Jr., Rat Pack, like the people that we
They had to
watched,
do everything.
you had to do everything. You could not get on. Red Fox to get on stage. Chicago, Chicago. Speaking of big pussy, and start his comedy, and you were like, but he was an entertainer. He could get on the stage with a band. He could do whatever, and that's necessary if you're gonna stay versatile. But you said a great thing to connect your passive income, and you want to do something new with what you do.
Right.
I kind of look at some things I'm working on now, and I'm like, I'm just going to keep the Fred Rogers mentality. And people are like, you talking about Mr. Rogers? I say, yeah, Mr. Rogers walked in the house with a suit on, took his suit off, put the sweater on, took his shoes on, and everywhere he was in his house, he had a camera. That was just modern day content. Okay, let's go talk to these fish. Ain't no fish. Those fish were dead. I don't know what wrong. Who is he feeding?
Right.
He's like, let's go in the kitchen. Let's go to the pool in the back. He had a little foot pool. Let's go to Land of Make Believe. Totally different scene. He doing puppets. All that was is content. And to break each thing up, his family still makes money off the cartoon today. The Daniel Tiger cartoon.
And they do the feature film. Yeah.
Feature films. Yeah. So improv is a big part of entertainment as a whole. Now I want to jump before we get out of here. I got to talk about this because we thought we're gonna lose you there for a minute. There was a point you had a stroke some years back.
3 years, October 30th, 3 years ago, I had a stroke. I just connected with a guy on social media yesterday, reached out to me, said, man, how do you get past it? He's a stroke survivor as well. And it's surreal, Troy. I mean, to really, the way I characterize it, it's like I had a chance to die, but sit here and watch my social media. You know, it's like, you know, when people die, like we just lost John Witherspoon. And I see all the people posting pictures of like them and John. Well, I got to see that.
Yeah, he was like, I'm dead. like I'm still here.
I'm in the hospital and I'm seeing people post pictures of stuff pictures I've taken with them. I saw them posting stuff I said to them and different things over the years. And I was like, yo, this is crazy. It's like I'm dead. And they even reached out to me, Chris Spencer, and some of the guys, like, yo, we want to do a benefit. I'm like, no benefit. That's for dead people. Y'all can help my wife when I'm gone, but right now I'll be okay, you know? And so I wouldn't allow stuff like that. But at the same time, again, the best thing I had going for me is I really didn't know how bad it was. I really didn't. In my mind, I had a show booked. It was like a $20,000 show, and I was trying to make that fucking show. Dude, I was telling my doc, can you get me
with it?
I'm good.
No. I'm good.
I couldn't walk. I never lost my speech, but I was a little slow. I was still going live.
I think it was you and Ryan. I think it was you and Ryan, your brother, walking in the hallway with you in the walk. It's like you didn't do a montage like Kev. It's like Kev goes from the struggle to he in the pool. Like I'm coming back. You know. But,
yeah, I was under the gun literally for like 50 days. So I rehabbed. I had the stroke, went to ICU for 8 days, came out of ICU once I got stable, and immediately into rehab. So I had to learn how to walk again.
I had never seen anything like this. That's why I was like, it was definitely the hand of God. I've never seen anything like that. The transition, and then you being back on social media to talk to people, and then you know, the time you told people about the timing, but then you were coming back into a timing, you know, which, you know, people have a stroke.
It's crazy, man, because I had to learn how to walk again, had to learn how to use my left hand again. But the reality is what people did know, even after I was walking around, it took me probably till recently to get my balance back completely. You know, I mean, it takes some time to really get that back, and your brain heals at a much slower rate than anything else in your body because you're constantly using it. And
Mm.
so I was able to work, but I would get very fatigued. Like I could not push beyond that thing that says, I'm gonna go a few more minutes. I couldn't do that. I would have to go lay down. And still now, if I push myself too much, I have to go and shut down 3 or 4 days.
People don't realize, because it's not just you working on a machine somewhere. We use this, and then outside of everything else we thinking about to try to hold stuff together. That's why a lot of times comedians dropping balls. We need a good mate, a good person, a good team.
Yes.
Because when we use this, we go places that other people shut down. Other people stonewall those places in our mind, and we open ourselves up to it.
Yeah.
What did they say? What caused it? Did they say what it was?
Well, I was suffering from high blood pressure. I wasn't taking my medication. I had been diagnosed many years before, 5 or so years before. Chose not to take the medication because it affected my libido, and I was like, I'm not taking that shit. And it was a bad decision. And it took 5 years to catch up to me, but it caught up to me. And and so my goal now is to get healthy enough where I won't need it.
Right.
Right. I've went 3 years taking my medication every day. So now my goal is to get my weight down and everything down, because what happens post-stroke is you come home and you're super healthy, you're eating right, you're doing everything, and one day somebody go, you want a chicken wing?
You were like, shoot, I've been healthier than I ever been before in my life. Hell yeah, one chicken wing. Those are my sauce on.
Before you know it, you're a big boy again. So that's my goal now, rededicating to my health. And although I feel like great, my balance is great, it's still, as you get older, you just got to reconnect with that, with health and wellness and fitness.
And I think it's the key thing. Our mind doesn't realize. I had a incident. I have a phenomenal doctor here that I'll give some information to. Dr. Sai. He helped my daughter, help cure with the eczema, and I was playing basketball, and I'm right hand. I'm going to the right the whole time, and all of a sudden I could not do this with my left arm. It's like, did I pull a ligament or something?
Might be a little strokey.
That's what I thought. I was like, oh Lord, what's wrong with me? It's a little strokish. So I go to Dr. Side. He was like, no. And somebody said, oh, you had a frozen shoulder. I was like, what is that? And he said, I'm just making sure it's no ligament damage. And I was like, yeah, because I was like, ow. He had already had about 35 acupuncture pins in my hand and was working on the shoulder. In like 2 weeks, it came back. I started doing Tai Chi, some other stuff. But I was like, well, because in my mind, I'm thinking I'm just out there playing ball. Our mind is like, you can play ball, go out there and run rock. And you see brothers all heavy set out there running rock. And then all of a sudden he go down, he's like, my leg. He's like, no, you probably broke every bit of that leg. You 150 pounds more than you were when you were in high school or college. Yeah. So man, it's a blessing to have you back. I know you got a book. I don't want to take too much time, and just taking time out with me. I appreciate you. But I wanted to touch base with you because you don't know. You don't know when you're in, like they say, give flowers to a person when they're alive. You don't know how many people you influence. You were one of the people. You, Royal Watkins, David Arnold, you three were, when I got here in 2008 and I was sick, I'm laying in my bed, my friends over the crib fixing dinner. I was like, let me see what this Facebook thing is about. And you three were doing vlogs, video blogs. And I said, well, nobody's doing this whole sex, love, and relationship thing. These brothers are doing it, and these brothers are like they're on TV. And I looked at what y'all were doing, and I started mimicking and flowing in that. And it gave me a voice on social media that I never knew existed. Wow. Just by doing video blogs. But it was you. And so when Tony Spires, I was like, Tony, I came here. I didn't come here to do comedy per se. I came here to see how my live show production skills translated TV and film. I knew it was funny, but I wanted to see how this TV industry and this movie industry in LA worked. Okay. So by the time around November 2008, I was like, all right, Tony, I knew Tony because I produced shows, and I had booked Don DC Carey on a show that I was doing in Baltimore. Me, him, Earthquake, Mike Brooks, and Mickey Coachella. did a comedy show at the Lyric, and that's how I met him. And he was like, "Oh man, thanks for looking out for Don." And this because his role manager was hurt. So when I got here, I was like, "I'm here. I'm doing this." I was like, "Can you, I want you to manage me." He's, "I'm not looking to manage anybody, Troy, but you a hustler." And he was like, "I got a show that I need a host for at the Comedy Union." And I came up with the marketing. I called it Saturday Night Laughs, went in there, and it was great. You saw it was packed out. And Rodney was one of the main hosts of the Comedy Union. And I'm hosting this show. I'm having fun doing my thing. And Rodney comes up to me. I'll never forget this. You came up to me and said, "Hey, man, you mind if I get a little time? Can I hit the stage?" And I looked at you like, I thought this was your stage. I think you gonna say, "Hey, man, come on down here." And I was like, "You ain't gotta ask me for that." He's, "Oh man, thank you." The most, you and Chris Spencer, I can't say that because I met a lot of great people, but you and Chris Spencer to be mayors of Los Angeles when it comes to this comedy thing. Y'all are so gracious. And I appreciate you, brother. You,
Hey,
no matter
put me in the same breath as Chris Spencer, because Chris Spencer is the real man.
yeah. I mean, but
all day, every day. Yeah.
To me, because I was watching what you did on social media, translating it, because that all of a sudden I looked at Facebook and said, "Man, we don't have to wait for TV." It's 2008. I was like, we don't have to wait for TV anymore. These brothers have show. They come on camera and they do themselves, and people are connecting with it. And so when I met you in person and to see the same genuineness, and to be honest, Dave Arnold and Royale Watkins, they are the same way too. All three of them have helped me in some capacity, and Chris Spencer. So I appreciate you, man. Appreciate all you do for entertainment industry. And now you're in Atlanta holding it down.
Hey, man, I miss LA till I'm on the 405. I'm on the 405, like, you know what? I'm going back home, man.
Well, you get the best of both worlds. Well, you do at least. You get the best of both worlds in Atlanta because you can get to us, our folk. You can you can be at the house and breathe and drink some mint julep on the porch.
Let me say this, Troy. You haven't aged one day, and I'm sick of it.
What?
I'm so sick of it. From the first time I met you to right now, you haven't aged a single day. And I want to know the address to the hyperbaric chamber. How I get me one?
Michael, lay down. No. Somebody called. No, ain't nobody called. No, it's you know what? I'm trying to. Now my daughter's 8, so, and I don't know. I have good genes. I know my grandfather.
Child is 8.
But Zoe, I have one child. Zoe's 8 now.
I'm so sick of y'all new parents, man. You know, my oldest child, 30 years old.
30?
Yeah.
The girl?
I got 5 girls and a boy, so if you say the girl, you probably go hit one.
You know what scares me about that? That's what lets me know how old I'm getting. I'll be 45 in February. Okay. So that lets me know how old I'm getting when you can talk to people. You remember that girl, those couple girls that were pregnant in high school, and you talking to them and you see them in picture with the girls at the club. You're like, "Oh, all you and your girls are bad." You're like, "Thank you. It's me and my daughters." I was like, "What? What happened? You mean I can bump into your daughter in the club and be rapping and
easily?" I got 30, 24, 18, 16, and 9.
The boy is 9.
The boy is. I didn't even do the boy. That was all girl. My son is 26.
Oh, okay.
He's number 2. Yeah, he came in second.
We got 9-year-old. My daughter and your youngest can play together. That's good. So I'm coming to Atlanta. I'll be in Atlanta.
Done.
You're done. So anything, how can people get in touch with Rodney Perry? I appreciate you saying that. How can people get in touch with Rodney Perry?
I'm easy to find, man. All the social media is Rodney Perry or Rodney Perry Live. I'm touring. I got a book out now called Rodney Perry Moments on My Journey. It's available on Barnes & Noble and Amazon. You can hit me on my social media if you want an autograph copy. I can send it to you personally. And other than that, man, I'm just trying to stay kinetic, Troy. And I'm taking my improv into corporate America, doing some team building, really, expanding it right now too. So, we just working. I'm
excited. I'm gonna help push that. Anything I can do to help that and get on board. That's my That's my vein. So I appreciate you. And no, it's just I'm drinking water and I eat. You know, I eat. I eat and do barbecue. I don't know how I figure it out.
Hey, it's better than fried food.
Right. Well, you know what? I can say over the past 8 years, my daughter has helped me tremendously because since she had food allergies and I love to cook, I changed a lot of my cooking to stuff she could eat. So I had to pull back. I use sea salt. I'll use molasses. I'll use olive oil on most of the stuff and learn how to make different marinades with that. But so olive oil may be the thing.
Oh, I'm all over the flavored olive oils too. The like lemon I love that stuff, man.
Yes, indeed. So, all right, man. Look, let's talk some more. Y'all have been blessed to chill out with Rodney Perry for a hot minute. You can find him anywhere under his name. There's only one Rodney Perry. And if you see the black hat,
that's not true. There's a bunch of Rodney Perrys, believe it or not.
There's only one comedian extraordinaire, Rodney Perry.
That's a fact. I killed the other guy.
Don't say.
That's not true.
Love you, man. I'll talk to you soon, Rodney.
Hey, man, respect, Troy. God bless, bro.
God bless.